That is a kazoo, in case you didn't know what it was. You could talk. You can kind of hum. You hum kind of like through your mouth. Well, welcome. Let's see if everything in here is actually working. Working. Do I get a green? Yeah, I got my green bars is tipping into the yellow. And what I don't have, it's been 2 weeks since everything in here was up and running. So we have to what they say, clean out the cobwebs and get everything, the tubes all rattling and shaking, and get all the wires all cleansed and run everything that you need to run through the computers to clean out everything. I mean, it's been 2 weeks, so all the wires and the adapters and all that stuff has gotten cobwebby. It's gotten rusty, and we just have to get things to work a little bit better. Okay, so let's start with setting up Ecamm. How about if we turn on the comments? Oh, Jim Monday. Wow. Hi, Jim. How are you doing? Are you up late or are you up early? I don't know why I moved everything around. I had it set up so nice. So you'd be so... Wait, I do have that available. Let's get rid of the water bottle. Let's lay it down because it kind of sticks up too high. You'd be so nice to come home to. You'd be paradise by the fire. You'd be so nice. You'd be paradise. You'd be all that I could desire. Okay. See? It's easy to make a mistake when your finger is rusty. When your finger is rusty. So I was doing testing, 1, 2, 3. So as many of you could tell, we haven't been here for 2 weeks. So it was the July 4th weekend. I did take a little bit of videos, not much, but you know that every single video that I took was a fail. F-A-I-L. And do you want to know why? I stood in the same place. Oh, in our backyard, about 4 blocks over, is a stadium where the boys play, mostly the boys, I would guess, football, all the football games. So when the season starts, every week I could just sit on the patio, put my feet up, and listen to the game between the schools, and they cheer and all that. Well, they do a fireworks show there also, and I'm sitting in a prime location to be able to actually see it. And everybody, when I look down at my neighbors next door, or my neighbors to the right, or my neighbors to the left, it's all, they're all sitting out in the backyard, okay? So it is an opportune place for me to be doing that. So I know where to stand. I even know to use Vicks, you know, the Vicks that you put under your nose or on your chest. You put some, like the girls do, a little behind this ear, a little behind this ear, a little under the chin. Then I put some on this wrist and this wrist like that, and some on my ankles, inside and out, because it repels the mosquitoes, and they're out there. Those mosquitoes, they're out there, and they are mosquitoing. Whatever mosquitoes do, they do it to me, and I don't like it. So I took, which camera did I take? I took this guy, the A7C Mark II. What a nice camera. They're all nice cameras. So what I did is I always try to frame it, meaning there's some palm trees on the left side of me, and there's a tall palm tree on the right side of me, and then right between kind of that alley is where the fireworks bloom into the sky. So that is one of the things that I'm pretty hep on doing, meaning I know how to do it. But I had the camera in autofocus, and guess what? It autofocused on the tree on the left, meaning the fireworks were not in focus. I have beautiful out of focus fireworks. So if I ever need out of focus fireworks, I know just where to get them. Just come on over here. So I'd like to hear what's going on that's new. In the past, Sly has pushed me to get some stuff up on the marketplace. So in the last 2 weeks, I sold 2 cameras and 1 computer with the monitor, the computer, the keyboard, and the mouse. So I'm more than halfway there towards getting the FX2. See, I got to raise the money because the credit cards don't work. They're not there. Okay. So when I sell the FX2, now when I sell the ZVE1, see, I moved over to the A7C Mark II because they added dynamic image stabilization into this camera. And because they've added it into this camera, I use this camera all the time. It's like I get all kinds of things. And with that lens, that's a 70 to 350 crop sensor lens, which means when I put it on this guy here, let me get this out from behind the microphone. When I get it on here, it turns the camera or forces it to go into crop mode. The only one that doesn't do that I know of, that isn't already a crop mode camera, is the ZVE1, the one that I'm selling. On that one, you could record it full frame. Yeah, you'll get the black circle, but if you enlarge it yourself, you can actually go less than 1.5. You can go to 1.3, 1.4, and just have a little bit of the black on the sides, or just turn on dynamic image stabilization, and that brings the crop, boom, right where it needs to go. Now, when I put this camera on, and I turn on the new dynamic image stabilization that it's built into this camera now, it's cropping more. Can I have more, please? It's cropping more. So the ZVE1 has that advantage over actually any other camera, probably the FX2 also. Okay, so I did do that quite often. That's one of the things that I miss on the A7C2 from the ZVE1. So I have the ZVE1 at 1850 with the Ulanzi fan, the silver-bodied fan. So that is what I've got going on there. And I'll go down to 1750, but don't tell anybody that. If somebody wants to come in and buy it, fine. But most people want a little bit of a bargain. So I'll take $100 off of the camera. And then there'll be more than enough to buy the FX2. So I see we got people in here. So Jim, I said hi to you right off the bat because you and I were the only ones in the room at that time. So Jim is saying hi, Peter, and y'all. Hey. And happy Friday. Yeah, we're climbing up to almost the halfway point of July. So we have bypassed the half of the year mark already. So, boy, this is just flying. Fly, Robin, fly. There's a song like that, right? Okay, so that is Jim Mundy. Bluebeard Photography Bob is here. Hello, Peter. Happy Friday. I slept almost all day after shooting a jazz concert last night. Fun times. But I was frazzled. Yeah, you get overtired when you get into a job or even something that you're doing. But because you're having so much fun, like he said, fun times, you don't realize till it's all over that, hey, baby, I am tired. I am so tired. I hope you're doing well, and hello to the gang. Hi, Bob. Love you, buddy. Thank you for coming in. I've been seeing some of your stuff because I'm spending a little more time on Facebook, so I'm seeing some of your stuff on Facebook. And sometimes I'll make a comment, sometimes I don't. I'll put it like a heart or something like that. So thank you for coming in tonight and saying hello. Here's Mr. Camera Junkie. So Mr. Camera Junkie is saying hi to everybody. Remember to hit the like button. Yep. Now remember, tomorrow night at 10, Mr. Camera Junkie is on. Okay, and then Tuesday at 10, again, 10 seems to be this magic number, Sly is on. So we've got the 3 shows. Now we've got people that are putting up videos like Randy and Sammy. Hi, Sammy. How you doing? He's right there. Love you, buddy. And Alex. And so many people are just putting up the videos and haven't gone live. Now, Randy will go live. Like on Sly Show 2 weeks ago, I think Randy was her guest. So that was a cool thing. So on one side of the screen, like you got me, I'm the whole thing right now. Okay. So on the one side of the screen, you had Sly. I think it was the other way around. You had Sly. And then on the other side of the screen, you had Randy. A split screen. And if more people came on, there would have been 3 people. Now, when you go to the 4th person, then it goes to box, 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 box. Okay? And there'll be a person in each box. That's when you're hosting live people. So Sammy is here. Sammy is going, what mice are you using tonight? Oh, Mike, I'm going to have to get my eyes checked. It's getting harder and harder to see. I guess it's because I'll have a birthday in October. So this is a condenser mic. And I actually have it facing down, which gives me a little bit of a ring here because it's in one of those, you know where they are, Sammy. It's to keep it from the vibration. But it gives me a little round ring. I think it looks cool. Hey, what do I know, right? So Sammy says, I haven't made a YouTube video in a hot moment. Well, get on the stick. You've got so much to say. All you actually have to do is a little walking around in New York City. Go over the river and go to the city. Turn the camera on and just talk. People love to see New York City. As a matter of fact, I just watched a video, not last night, but the night before, of Times Square with all the lights. Man, do they have a lot of lights there. I can imagine what the electric bill is. Who's the electric company in New York City? Is it Edison? It's one of those big names. So all the people that made the purchases wound up being not just nice people, marketplace, but extra super duper nice. Okay? So it was a little bit of cheating. So on the computer, hey, Randy, wake up. Randy, wake up. See, I got to do that so he'll start to wake up, and then he'll wake up, he'll stretch. He might decide he needs a frappe mocha, and then all of a sudden you'll see Randall, and he'll say, I heard you talking about me and I woke up. So Randy had something very sad, so keep him in your prayers. His dog died day before yesterday, That is not something that we're going to joke about. Sammy knows because his cat died just 2 weeks ago. So that is, and Kyle's dog. He had to put his dog down. So we're kind of like in a sad season here. What is going on? Golly gee whiz, Batman. This is crazy. Crazy, crazy daisy. Da-da-da-dum-da-dum. So the reason this mic is here, I've been wanting to do a little bit of singing. So I had the 2 weeks. We didn't wind up going anywhere on July 4th. Well, we did go on the afternoon, which would not have affected here at 10 o'clock at night. But it was nice just to go to bed, fall asleep. And that's exactly what I did. Okay. So I piped in this mic and I put it and set it up so that it is actually running on the mixing board. Okay, so I had to refresh myself with all this stuff. So if I sing a song to everyone, I can just sing it here, and this microphone is my high-end microphone. It picks up the voices so clear and so well. And with one button, I could turn the church on and turn the church off. But, so I was going to say something and I forgot. Oh, this microphone will pick up more room noise. So I do have the air conditioner on. And I guess if you listen real close, you might hear it. But I'm not quite sure what it's going to do. And the reason I say that is because this is not the normal position you put this microphone in. Normally it's standing up like that, okay? And it would be like covering my nose. So what I did is I spun it all the way around and faced it down. So it's kind of aiming a little above my belly button. But the angle of the voice, the vocal path, is the same, whether I turn it around and face it up or turn it around and face it down. So I'm not talking into the tip of the mic. I'm actually if I face my face down towards it, I'm actually talking exactly like if I was going to sing a little song, make a little love, get down tonight. Okay, so I didn't flip the church on, but it's very easy to do. All I have to do is start remembering where that button is. And when I turn it on, it suddenly sounds, if I could hear you all the way out there, I would sing to you a very special song. Now, I wish that thing was like here, where my hand is here, but it's not. So I just kind of stretch it out. You know, when you go to the movies with a girl, you put your hand over and you're stretching because you're heading for something. Well, I'm heading for the button. I'm heading for that button. I'm heading for the button that makes me sing. The button that makes me sound much better. Better, better, better. La, 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 da, da, la. Okay, we're not going into Beatles now. All right, so that allows me to sing. So, hey, if it's anybody's birthday, you let me know. I'm itching to sing. Can't you tell? I didn't sing to you in so long. I'm looking for any reason to sing. So I'm looking at a box over there. Did you guys, boys and girls, did you actually buy anything on Prime? I think Prime is still going on. I think it was set up for 2 days and then another 2 days. I don't know how they worked that out. So I bought a fan. I bought a fan and I bought a barbecue, but not the kind you think. I can't even explain to you what kind of a barbecue I bought, but I will probably be putting that on Peter's Kitchen. So if you're not on Peter's Kitchen and you want to see the barbecue paraphernalia and the stuff that I do with the barbecue. Is that a light? No, it's got to be a reflection. Then you'll go over there. Oh, good news. I have crossed the 7,000 subscribers on the kitchen channel. It stayed in 6,900 for so long, and I put a couple of videos up. What videos did I put up? I know I did one where I showed how to make hot dogs in the air fryer. By the way, the hot dogs in the air fryer, they come out better than great. It's not like you're settling. You know how you tell the kids, don't settle. Go for the good stuff all the time. Don't settle. Well, when you make a hot dog in the air fryer, my God, I want another one. That's how good it is. So I only made one because I'm not supposed to be eating hot dogs to begin with. But I ate it. So I made it in the air fryer, and that's the video. But I put up a second one, and I can't for the life of me remember what the heck I put up. Anyway, I put up 2 videos, and I shot up like 28, 29 subscribers. Wow, that is fantabulous. So that is good news. Now, this channel doesn't go anywhere. We stay at 460. We might go to 470, and then it'll drizzle back down, drip, 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 back down to 460, and then it'll run back up to 470 subscribers. So I think I mentioned this 2 weeks ago. I think I tittled with it. Titillated, is that the right word? I titillated with it a little bit. I put up a couple of videos that were, I don't want to say meaningless, but they're going to be whatever I decide I want to put up. There's no rules. This for how many hours is there in a week? For all those hours minus 1, which is this one here, okay, it's empty. The Peter Gregg Live channel doesn't do anything. So I announced, now it's 2 weeks ago, that I am going to start putting whatever the heck else I want to put up there. And it's going to be any topic I want. I'm going to make a smoothie. I did a photo shoot, not a real one, and I put that up there. Oh, I tried that on the big channel too, by the way. Marlon actually rented a Tesla. I don't know any of the story because he didn't tell me the story. I don't know what it cost him. I don't even know the reason why he rented it. He had an occasion, obviously, because he doesn't just go around renting cars. And it was 2024, which is fairly new. And not only that, so I grabbed my camera. I grabbed this camera. I grabbed the 10 to 20. And with the 10 to 20, I could go very, very wide, which is very, very nice. Okay. So I just started shooting, walking around and talking. Now that video is up on the big channel because it was like I opened the garage door and there was a Tesla. I'm going, oh, the Lord sent me a Tesla. I've been praying for one. It's sitting here. Okay, Lord, where's the key? Well, it wasn't my Tesla, obviously. Okay, so it was one that he rented. And I didn't even get to go inside. I was offered to go inside, but I chose not to. It's a rental car. Better off keeping any kind of a problem from happening. So anyway, as I was walking around the Tesla, I walked. How was that? That would be counterclockwise. Okay, so I started at the front, and eventually, at some point, the 10 to 20 millimeter PZ lens from Sony, the F4, is a PZ, meaning it's a power zoom. So on this one, it is this one, okay? So let me get the phone out of the way because I keep turning it on. So you got this, if I turn this camera on, you've got this button here. I have to actually go to video mode. That's another mistake you can make very easily. Now, when I turn this, not when I turn it, when I turn this button up or back, then we are zooming. So it's zooming, but all of the zoom is happening. Let me check before I open my mouth. Yeah, all of the zoom is happening internal. So you don't see the lens getting bigger and smaller. You don't even know I'm zooming. So I'm zooming in on you right now. Wow, you look really good. Now I'm going to go all the way down to 10 millimeters. And let me tell you something. 10 millimeters, quite wide. She's a wide. I mean, it gets from the air conditioner to the edge of the slide bar, which is on the right side. My right, your left. Okay, so it gets all of that. So the air conditioner is into the wall, and that would be on that side. The end of the slide bar is over here. Okay, so if I go at a 45 that way and go all the way to the wall, that's what the air conditioner is. And if I go to a 45 this way, that's the end of the slide bar. So the slide bar is simply a metal L-shaped bar, and she had drilled 1, 2, 3, it looks like 4, 5, maybe 6 holes in it, so that I can put ball heads on there, and I can put as many cameras as I want on that slide bar. Now, I don't use it as much because now what I use is actual ball heads that I've screwed into the, I had to put a wooden plate when I upgraded the TV, because the little shelf I had there, the TV was over the edges. So if you let go of the TV, it would flop back or it would flop forward. Now, if you flop back, there's a wall. If you flop forward, it's going to fall to the ground or on you. So I built a piece of plywood, and I put it like 6 inches past the end of the feet, where the footers, where the foots are, on the plywood. Now that gave me a nice shelf. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Hello, winner, winner, chicken dinner. So I drilled holes in that, and I took out the studs that Sly had put into the bar up on the slide bar where it's mounted there, and I put the metal studs and drilled holes into the plywood, and then I just put the ball heads on there. So the let's start from this side. All right, so which camera are we on? We're on the Nikon. So the Nikon is the furthest to my right, your left. Okay, then if I go over one, that is the Lumix. So if I turn the Lumix on, this is the S5 Mark II, which is a very underrated camera. If you're starting out and you don't, what camera do I get? This will cover everything and make it a little bit hard for you to do vlogs of yourself. And that's because the camera, the weight. You need to kind of pay attention to the weight of the cameras when you buy them if you're going to use a camera to walk around and look at yourself, which is why I love this A7C II. So when they came out with the ZV-E1, winner, winner, chicken dinner. Everything I would want in a camera is in there. There's a few things more that I would have wanted, and they put those things into the A7C Mark II, which is the same form factor. It's a square, small camera. Not much different in size than the E10, which is a great camera for content creation. However, they left out the major part. Even though it's a newer camera, they left out dynamic active image stabilization. Now, who in the world at Sony would come out with a new camera after they came out with a camera that's got one of the best stabilizations you ever wanted to use and not include that in the newer camera? They were basically, they were smoking something. I don't know. You guys will have to tell me what kind of things could they have. What could it be? I don't know. What could they have been smoking? So anyway, they didn't have that in there. So about a month ago now, because I've been talking about it so often, they added it to this camera, which is a miracle in itself because Sony doesn't add stuff that's major on their firmware updates. But 2 cameras, they singled out, sharpshoot, whatever they call it, pew, pew, okay? And they targeted the A7C2 and the A7R, A7CR, is that what it's called? Okay, so that was very, very unique. So I started using this, figuring, well, I got the ZV-E1 here, so if I don't like using this, well, let's pass all of that bullcrap. I love using that camera, okay? So now they took this camera, they used the same form factor as the FX3, great, but they added a fan to this camera and a second card slot to this camera and the ability to do LUTs to this camera and a viewfinder that moves to this camera. And the price isn't, I think it's from the retail price of this, like $600 more. So I'm going like, gee, Lord, I'd like to get me that camera. So I decided I'll help the Lord. So I sold the 2 ZV-E10s. One was a white one. One was a red one. No, it wasn't red. I'm just checking to see if you're paying attention. One was the white one. The other one was the black one. So the white one, this guy came down from... Where did he come from? I want to see, whatever's north of West Palm Beach. It was almost an hour and a half ride for him to come down. And he was scared. Both of them were scared. And I was scared too. Okay, just so you don't think I'm some magical hero. I mean, someone's coming to my house to buy a $500-600 camera. And they're going to pay me. And I'm a little bit concerned, So I called my my brothers and I told them, someone's coming, keep an eye on me, blah, 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 blah. Well, this guy turned out to be so nice. Amazing. 20 years old. Okay. He's a black man, but his skin complexion was so clean that he looked like a chocolate bar. Like, oh my God, this guy should have been a model. And then when he talked, he had the deepest, most resonant voice. And I said, dude, I don't know what you're doing in life, but you need to be a model and you need to be a voiceover artist and you need to be in radio. You look great. Now, for some reason, it didn't click in my mind. I was a little looser the second time I had sold the camera, okay, and friendlier. But we talked at the front door, I would say for 25-30 minutes. He was like soaking everything in that I was telling him and so on and so forth. And, after he left, I kicked myself in the butt saying like, why weren't you friendlier? Why didn't you invite him into the kitchen? He did, his mom brought him down. So she was in the car. And what I should have done was invite the mother to come in, and we could have all sat in the kitchen and I could have expanded on it. But didn't happen. But he's very happy and he still texts me. So I make a nice connection with these people. So a week later, and now what is today, Friday? It's been about a week. Okay, I sold the second ZV-E10. Okay, so this is the E10, the same one that you've got, Jim. Okay, and this one is the black one. All right, so as scared as the first guy was, the second one was 10 times more. Okay, and it took him 2 hours to get here. I don't know why everybody up in the middle of the state is buying my cameras, but that's where they're buying them from. And I even told him, why don't you find one in your area? Okay. He says, no, 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 no. So he came down, so apprehensive at the front door. He said when he drove, later, he told me when I drove up, he said I didn't know what I was going to do. I felt like I wanted to turn around and go home and this and that. And then you came out to the car and brought me in. And this guy spoke English very well, but it was not his, you could tell it wasn't his native, he's Asian, okay? So I could tell he was scared, and I tried to not be macho, but I didn't want to act and look scared. So I said, would you feel uncomfortable if you come in? You know, I could show you a few things on the camera and give you a tour. And he said, oh, okay. Okay. So he stayed here for 3 hours. You know, Gregg can talk. Once he starts talking, he doesn't shut up. So I can hear Randy laughing. I can hear Jim laughing. I can hear Sly laughing. I can hear Scotty laughing. I can hear Norm laughing. I can hear Sammy laughing. So once I started talking, I got him into the kitchen, and we started in, and then it dawned on him. He's 21, okay? These young guys, I don't know if they take their brain off and put them on the shelf, okay? Somebody used to tell me, if you know what, was it attached to you, you'd forget it somewhere, okay? So it dawned on him, no, what lens? I'm not going home with a lens. I said, that's right. You're not going home with a lens. You're just going home with the camera, the E10, the battery, the strap, the box, the paperwork. Okay. What else came with that camera? That camera, I don't even think came with a cable, a USB-C cable. Well, I didn't give him one anyway. So they're all in use, and I'm not unplugging any. But he said he had plenty of them. So he's here from a country in Asia to go to flight school, okay? And he showed me some pictures. He buddied up with all Asian guys. So they're in like a cocoon of their own environment, their own lingo where they could talk. So he said he liked talking to me. His name is Brian. And the first one's name is Aaron, okay? Because he doesn't speak English that well, and that I seem to be very, very friendly. No kidding, all right? And that he wanted to practice talking in English to somebody that wasn't going to be mean to him. Well, I'm not going to be mean. My heritage is Greek. My grandmother didn't speak 2 words of English. You had to speak to her in Greek, and a lot of my family was like that. And I spoke Greek way before I spoke English. As a matter of fact, I had to learn to speak English when I started going to first grade, because they don't speak Greek in the elementary schools. Did you know that? So that's when I was forced to learn how to speak English, okay? So I could sympathize with this young man. So we sat there, and I kept coming in here. I didn't bring him in here. We sat in the kitchen. And I would bring a lens out. So the first lens I brought out was the kit lens, the 16 to 50 millimeter kit lens. It's a zoom. It too is a power zoom, okay? So I brought that lens and put it on there. And then he started shooting some pictures, and boy, that boy is hooked, okay? So then he said he looked around, okay, and he picked out the 16 to 50, the one that I had put on there. And I said, okay, turn the camera around now. And the 16 millimeter, how do you like how close you get when you're actually going to focus on you talking to the camera? Because when you turn that lens around, you go all the way to 50 millimeter, which is basically 75 millimeters, because it's a crop sensor lens. And even if it wasn't, it's a crop sensor camera, okay? So he looked and he goes, my face is a little close. I said, oh, let me show you what I use. So I came in here and I grabbed I don't remember if I grabbed the 11 millimeter 1.8 or the 10 to 20. One of them. And I brought that out there. And he said, oh, that's more comfortable. He says, but what about when somebody's far away? I said, well, you can use the 50 millimeter part of the 16 to 50 or get yourself a more specialty lens. So I came in here and I brought a few different lenses out and I put them on the E10. He was flabbergasted. I mean, it was like a, what's the saying about the candy store? Something like that. He was so interested. And then what I did, my amazingly fast, brilliant mind, after he's been here an hour, okay, I brought out this camera and I showed him this camera and told him it was 3 times the price of the E10. And no, I'm not selling it to him, okay? But whatever lens he wasn't looking at, I was using that lens and taking pictures of him. That's how I got a slideshow. So if you look on one of the channels, I made the slideshow, and Randy's the one that told me, put it on the main channel. If a person doesn't want to watch it, they don't have to watch it. So I shot pictures of him all over the place, you know, and then finally he caught on. You're taking pictures of me? I said, yeah, is that okay? Can I take some pictures of you? He said, yes. So after he said yes, I took him into the big family room. You guys that have been here, you know that between the kitchen and the Christmas room, there's a big family room. And that big family room was the original Christmas room, okay? So I posed him. And I wound up out of, I would say 30, 35 pictures. I wound up with 13 really good ones. There's a few more, but I wanted to keep it down a little bit, okay? And I made a slideshow out of it. So that slideshow that you see, that's the guy that bought my ZV-E10. So before he left, he really, really pushed me into selling my 16 millimeter to 50 millimeter, the kit lens. And I felt sorry for him, so I said, okay, look it up on your phone. How much is it going to cost to buy another one? Okay, so he looked it up. It's anywhere from $90 to $140. So I said, but look for the silver one because this one is silver. So it was $130 where I could replace it. And I told him, you know, you don't need to buy that from me. You could buy it on your own. Just wait a couple of days. You could buy things on Amazon. Okay, you have bought on Amazon, haven't you? And he said, yes, I have. And he says, well, you spent so much time with me, it'll mean a lot to me to have one of your lenses. So that's what happens when they see my channel, because now I've been starting to put it in on Marketplace. They watch and they realize, oh, this is a friendly guy. He's not dangerous. So long story short, I sold him the lens for $130 because then I have to turn around and buy one to put it back in, you know, of what I had. But he would be able to go home with the lens. So that became what ended up. So he went home with the camera and the lens, and that's how I sold the ZV-E10 black and the ZV-E10 white, and I sold the 16 to 50 millimeter kit lens to Brian, the second guy. The first guy, what's his name again? Aaron. Aaron didn't go home with the lens. He wound up a week later. It took him a week to decide what lens he wanted. And he conversed with me all week. Okay, I kept trying to push him wider because I really want him to get his face online. He is like a walking beauty. Okay, really model material. Somebody like that can hit it off, he'll make a good living, good livelihood. And I want him to be in it. Anyway, he wound up buying a 15 millimeter, either the 2.8 or the 1.8. He was very hung up on the low light abilities of the camera. which, believe it or not, the E10 does a fantastic job of low light. It's one of the cameras that are under the radar that actually I could recommend. Actually, if you have the money, I would recommend the E10 Mark II over the E10 Mark I because it's the newer technology. It uses the same battery that's in this camera and any of my Sony cameras. It uses the full-size battery, where the E10s use the one step down. So, Jim, if you didn't fall asleep, you've got the A7 Mark IV, which has an FZ100. Is it an FZ or an FX? Let's take a look. Wrong side. Okay, FZ100 camera. So this is the largest battery that Sony makes to go into their cameras, not the cinemas, okay, but in all their cameras, all the way up, okay. It uses the FZ100. So the E10 Mark II uses the same battery. So if you ever graduate, remember you marry the lens and you date the body. You'll always be moving up, okay? So now Jim Monday's got the E10 and the A7 IV, but the batteries are different sizes. So if you ever want to sell your E10, but you like the camera, you can move to an E10 Mark II and it'll be the same battery, Jim, just in case you wanted to know. But I'd rather you spent a lot more money, Jim, and buy the FX2. All right, so let's see who has come in. Hal came in. Hi, Hal. Love you, buddy. I'm assuming you're all fine now because you were under the weather for a while, and I think you're all clear from that. And Hal works at one of the positions in a very large church down here in the South Florida area. And he's got one of the cameras. Oh, that's a cable. I was wondering, what's on my foot? And so he does that. And he's right in the midst of making the most live videos you ever wanted to see. So hi to Al. Al. Hi, Al. I renamed you. Let's put the H back in. Al has been here live. Yes, he has. So I'm grateful for that. Here's Norm. Where did I see Norm? I saw you on Facebook, Norm. Merry Christmas, Peter. Good evening, Greggies around the world. Looking forward to seeing the new barbecue. It's, if you're into that kind of stuff, it's a reverse barbecue. When I say reverse, or upside down is a better word for it, okay? The fire on a barbecue is usually on the bottom, okay? So you put your steak on, or you put your chicken on, or you put your hamburger on. Well, the fire on this one is on the top, and it's infrared, and it goes to 1,500 degrees. And this is the type of stuff that is used in the high-end steakhouses, like Morton Steakhouse and Ruth Chris and stuff like that, because it creates the most satisfying sizzle, crispness, because you raise it all the way up. It's kind of like a super turbocharged broiler. That's what it's like. It goes on propane. But you can make chicken, you can make pizza. I watched a lot of videos before I bought it, of course. But I've seen them put the asparagus and other veggies and they crisp them up and stuff like that. So it's called a bighorn, like a bighorn in the car. Woot, woot, you know. Bighorn infrared grill or bighorn outdoor grill. And they make the half size and they make the full size. So I bought the full size. And it comes with a pizza stone, and it just seems very useful. And all the drippings go to the bottom where there's a pan, and everybody seems to put and line it with aluminum foil. Excuse me. And after they put the aluminum foil in there to clean it out, they just take out the aluminum foil, wrap it up. The side things that hold the The grates that go in, they all snap off. Actually, they set in. You can put all that stuff in the dishwasher. But what I like is what entices me, what draws me in. Entice is not a good word, by the way. So I'm sorry I used it. What draws me in is that I like to sous vide a lot of food, which means tonight I would put a steak into my sous vide. And I'd put it in at like 132 degrees. And then tomorrow night, I would take it out, and it'd be cooked exactly perfect, okay? Now, what you need to do is it looks gray and dull and ugly. So I don't want to eat a gray, dull, ugly steak. So what I've been having a really hard time is to get a good sizzle on it. And the only way I could actually get a good sizzle on it is to get a nice hot pan and put like a 1/2 inch or less of an oil in there. And basically you're frying the steak at that point to give it, when they deliver a steak in the restaurant, when it's, you can hear the sizzle. Well, I want that without, bathing the steak in oil. Okay, now I don't have anything against bathing the steak in oil because I use olive oil, but that's expensive. Have you seen the price of a bottle of olive oil? So I'm going to be able to take the steak out that's cooked to perfection and put it into this Bighorn infrared grill. And they say 45 to 65 seconds. No minutes, seconds. And my brother has one, which is what sold me on it. You really have to time it, because you will destroy that steak. You put it in there for 2 or 3 minutes, it is crisp. It's burnt to a crisp, okay? So I'm going to sizzle it on the one side. The correct word is sear it, all right? But for me, it's sizzle. And then I'm going to turn it over and sizzle it on the other side, about 40 to 50 seconds. And it's going to come out, and it's going to have a little bit of a crunch to it. And I like that. And I'm going to be able to do that with steak. I'm going to be able to do that with chicken. When Domino's or Papa John's has their, their pizza on sale, like Domino's just had one and I missed it, for $6.99 or $7.99 for a large pizza with 2 toppings, I get 3 or 4 pizzas, and then I take 2 slices at a time. I separate the slices, and then I put them in the freezer, so to freeze them up most of the way. Now, it doesn't have to be all the way, but it's got to be frozen. Okay. Then I take the 2 slices and put them back to back, and put them in the vacuum, the machine that sucks the air out. And that's one of the reasons that you do freeze them, because if you suck the air out, you'll scrunch up the pizza. It's soft. So I make it hard by freezing it. So I put the pizza back to back, and then I put them in the baggie. I vacuum out only maybe about half of the air. And I got baggies after baggies of pizza in the freezer. And when my brother George or Marlon or anybody that comes here, I'm hungry or this or that, would you like pizza? I take the pizza out. I put it in the oven at 350 for about 4 minutes. And it's like I just bought it from Domino's fresh. Okay? So I got that down pat. Now I'll be able to not put it in for 4 minutes. I'll put it in for 40 seconds, and it'll cause that cheese to bubble right up again. My brother's done it. Okay? So that one maybe 40 to 50 seconds, not minutes. And you've got like you just bought a fresh pizza from Papa John's or from Domino's or wherever you like to get your fresh pizza. So that when you buy the pizza at Publix, at your grocery store, okay, it's if you get a decent one, it's $10 to $12 already, and then you have to cook it. Okay, so I'd rather get the $6.99 with 2 toppings or the $9.99, where a professional company has already cooked it. It's in perfect shape. I freeze them and then I reheat them, and I got pizza on tap. So before that, I used to reheat the pizza in the toaster oven. And believe it or not, it works. So if you don't want to turn on your oven and you don't want to do this, actually Sly is the one that told me that she does her frozen pizza for 3 to 4 minutes, and she is spot on. So I have done that, and I've been doing that ever since I got taught to do that, and I've got pizza on tap. So this thing is be able to heat up the pizza. I'll try a few things with the vegetables. I'm not big on vegetables, but I'll put in some squash. I don't know. Do you do that to tomatoes? Do you put the tomatoes in your broiler? I don't know. You know where a good place to go look is? YouTube. You go find what can I cook in my Bighorn infrared grill. So that was Norm's fault. He's the one that got me on that. So Bluebeard. Bob says, I love making salmon cakes in the air fryer. Yep. That is, it's the air fryer, the Instant Pot, and now this thing has made kitchens almost obsolete. Okay? Not completely. I mean, if you're going to bake bread, you need your oven. Okay, so Scott says PZ equals, well, it means power zoom. So I guess you're making a joke. Oh, Pia Zadora. That's a person. I didn't get the joke that quickly. Sorry, Scotty. That's okay. I'll get there. Hey, look who's here. Shane is in the building. Hi, Peter, Gregg. Hi, everybody. Hi to you all the way down in Australia. So for him, 11, it's 11 in the morning plus 3. It's about a little afternoon, 1 o'clock. So that's where Shane is, down under. And Jim says, I never thought about that. Minimizing batteries would be nice. Well, it isn't something that you're going to go do on purpose just for that. But let's say you need it. Let's say you looked at your E10 and you said, I need to buy 6 or 7 batteries just to go out because they're only good for an hour and a half. So maybe I'll get 3 and I'll get a few extra. So maybe I'll get 4 or 5. Well, that's a nicety of having a camera that will take the same battery that you got on your A7 IV, because then if you just buy a couple of extra batteries, you got them for both cameras. So that winds up being super duper extra nice. So have I covered everything I wanted to cover? Everything but the kitchen sink? I think so. Let's see. So I told you what the schedule is. You've got the Saturday, the Tuesday, and that you got the rest of us that are throwing up videos. I almost called you today, Jim, and then I laid down. I'll tell you the truth. I fell asleep. Okay, so you didn't get the call, but you didn't know unless your ears were red. If your ears were red, then that was something. Okay, so Sam is, hey, Peter, I'm on a cruise through Miami a couple of weeks ago. So much construction near the airport. Where did you go? You have to tell me all about it. Yeah. Oh, the reason there's construction near the airport, they're building a $1 billion with a B dollar soccer stadium there. And one of the big names, what's his name? It's not Ronaldo Cristiano. It's the other guy that's as famous as him. Oh my gosh, I can't remember it. And he's putting some of his money in it and putting his name behind it. And that's right at the edge of the airport property. And so we're going to get a huge $1 billion stadium there. Now, the stadium of all stadiums is the one that's the soccer stadium in Madrid. There is absolutely nothing that compares with that stadium. So a soccer stadium is grassed because your high-end teams don't want to play on that turf, fake turf. Artificial turf is what they call it. They want real grass, okay? So when they put the real grass, they have to tend to it, manicure it, comb it over. What do they call it? Thatch it. Pull up all the stuff. Keep it fresh and gorgeous. And based on that, they build these huge stadiums, and then they can't use them except during the soccer games because they don't want the pitch is what it's called. It's the field, is what normal people would call it. Okay, they don't want the field to get destroyed. So, voila, you've built an expensive stadium. You can use it for 3 hours once every 2 weeks, maybe, and then the season is over and it's over. Okay, so what Madrid did is they built. Thank you, Sam. Messi. Okay, so Messi is the famous soccer player that's involved in building this stadium. Now, the one that's being built in Miami is not a replica of the one that's in Madrid. So what happens with Madrid is the field is a big field. Picture a football field, whether you're a soccer mental state or a football mental state. Picture a football field. Now, you want to preserve your grass because you are cultivating that grass and manicuring it and babying it basically so much. Nobody walks on my grass, okay? Stay off the frickin' grass. Now, what Madrid did is they built a stadium, very large, very high capacity, okay? Now, on the outside of the stadium, they put a ring of metal all the way around it, and there's all kinds of things going on there. But the key, the crazy part of that stadium is the field itself is divided into strips of grass. I don't know how wide each strip is, but the last one over is sitting on an elevator, and it will lower down into the ground, and then the next strip will come over, and it will lower into the ground. Then the next strip will come over. I think it's like a half a day process or longer. And each floor, you walk on the grass, standing up. They got special lighting. They got special sprinkling, watering systems. They got the machines that go under there that cuts the grass. They rake it. They thatch it. Thatch it means all the grass that dies and buries itself in the dirt, that's got to come up. So the grass is green and fresh. None of the dead grass is in there. Okay, so it's got a thick layer of dirt, and you've got the fresh grass growing, and I think it's 8 or 10 layers. So it's kind of like a silo in the ground, but it's got these long strips of football field going down, one after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other. And then they've got teams that all they do, that's their whole job, is to tend to the grass that's under the ground. So they got special lighting that tells the grass it's sunlight, wake up, and then they feed it, they sprinkle it with sprinklers, okay? They do the mowing and all the stuff, and then when it's a game day or the day before, they start raising it up and it goes over. Then they raise the next section up and they each interlock with each other. Okay, now Miami's not getting that. They're getting the grass on the field, kind of like the Orange Bowl. Okay, but there's another field in the world somewhere, and I want to say it's Barcelona, but it might not be. Okay, but what they do is they did the reverse. The grass is there, and for an event, like let's say they have a Taylor Swift or some famous big star that's going to give a concert, Michael Jackson. Well, if he gives a concert, it's going to be sold out. But whoever, they come there, okay, and now the stadium is used every day for something. And now it's become a big, big moneymaker because they rent out the stadium 2 or 3 times a week. It's a huge place. And now Barcelona did the same thing in reverse. They have a cover that comes, folds up into itself, and then it covers the field one section at a time. It makes like a wooden covering. I don't know if it's wood or metal, whatever it is. Okay. And then when that's over, they clean that up and they open it up so that the rain and the sun and everything else can come and water the grass. So they do that in reverse. So that's the construction that you see. So Sam said his name is Messi. I saw the construction of the new stadium. I went to the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, and the Bahamas. We had a great time. Amen. That's fantastic. Good for you. Double good for you. Evelyn, I'm just listening. Hi, Evelyn. How are you doing? And I'm glad Scott made it home okay. Scotty, did you have a gig tonight? What kind of a place did you play? Was it a nursing home? Was it a live-in center for 55 and up? So Scott gives concerts. He's a piano player, and I'm guessing he sings. Okay. But since Evelyn is here, the shadow of your smile when you are gone. Evelyn's a girl, I sing a song. Your face is so sweet, my dear. Your smile is so nice. Oh, how great to sing to you. So Evelyn got her song, and that brings us up to 11 o'clock, and we've done our hour show. Boy, does this go by fast now that we're having fun. So you guys, thank you for sharing with me tonight. I'm sure there's more we could talk about, but we'll zip it and save it for next week, okay? What do you think about that? Yeah? No, not Scotty. Scotty's a 5-hour guy minimum. All right, well, glad that Scotty's home okay. So Evelyn is saying thank you so much. Where's Randy to close out the show? Usually he's saying, good night, everybody. Well, I'll say it. Good night, everybody. Thank you for being here. You know I enjoy being with you. I enjoy being with you. Did I turn the reverb off? Yes. And God willing, and the bridge isn't up, I'll see you next Friday. And my goal is the sky and not the grave. You can get that on a t-shirt. Look down below. Actually, go to petergregg.com, and you'll see the t-shirts as I've been designing them. All right, so Norm is going to do the honors tonight. Good night, Greggies. Have a good week. So Norm is closing us out, telling us all to have a good week. See you next week. Love you all. Good night. Good night, my love. No singing. Just good night. Bye-bye.